We all are fairly familiar with Jesus' reputation. Hanging around with sinners, tax collectors, and prostitutes. Hanging around with the peasants and the irreligious and irreverent part of the country called Galilee. Breaking the religious rules. And we obviously can understand the hostility of the chief priests and the scribes when they look at Jesus and say, by what authority are you doing all of these things? So the gospel reminds us today that words are not enough. So we can gather here and we can gather in our education centers and we can recall all the principles. We can state all of our intentions. We can point out all the injustices around the world. But there has to be more than just pious words and songs. Jesus was yes to God. Jesus shows us that yes isn't just once. Yes has to be said over and over and over again in our lives. Our life has to be a yes. Now, during the month of October, the bishops call us to a consistent ethic of life. To be able to have the same mind, the same attitude as Christ, and to be one with Christ. That's what we are called to as a parish community. To have the same attitude as Christ and one with Christ. Now that means we are called to be a people of life. From the first moment of conception to natural death. And we have to be able to say yes each and every day. We have to be able to say yes over and over and over again for the protection of all life, especially the most vulnerable. But we need to remember that we can't be unaffected by all those other issues that come between conception and natural death. There are so many issues that concern human life and the dignity of human life. And if we're going to be consistent, then each of those concerns have to become our concerns. Why? Because they are Christ's concerns. And if we are going to be one with Christ, then our attitude has to be the same as Christ. And so we can't be unaffected by poverty, by violence, by injustice, by capital punishment, by racism, by unemployment, by lack of access to education, by inadequate housing, by the right to health care. And we need to remember those inmates on death row, sometimes the most forgotten of our people. So the gospel today calls us to be prophets. Every one of us is called to be a prophet. We are anointed at baptism as priest, prophet, and king. Every one of us as prophets in this world, in our time, naming all those things that say no to God. To God's way of life. So we need to go beyond talk, and we need to become people of action. Knowing that the heart, our heart, knowing that your heart has many rooms for empathy, many rooms for compassion. And I guarantee you that if you look deeply into your heart, there's a room every day to say yes. God bless you.